Welcome back to The Cosmic Mystic. Danny Simuni's here, blessed and honored your guide on this channel. This week we are diving into our Sidereal Astrology forecast. So we are wrapping up January and we are moving into February this week. So we've got our new moon in Capricorn. We've got some conjunctions with Sun and Mercury, Mercury and Pluto, and Venus and Neptune. We've also got Venus moving into Pisces. Uranus is going direct, and Jupiter will be going direct next week. So we've got some things to talk about, my friend. So let's dive in to this week's Sidereal Astrology forecast. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And as I do that, I am going to remind you that this is on two different locations. You could get this forecast here on the YouTube channel, The Cosmic Mystic, and on the podcast, The Cosmic Mystic Podcast. If you did not know, we have a podcast. Yes, I launched that in 2024. So you could get these forecasts in your earbuds every single week, as well as if you want to dive in and see the charts, see my beautiful face, then come on over to the YouTube channel. All right, we've got, let's do our state of the planets. You guys know this is my favorite thing to do, is just to start off with letting you know where everybody is. So as I mentioned in the opening there, we've got our Sun, our Pluto, and our Mercury are all conjunct here, and they are in Capricorn. We've got our moon kicking off this week in Sagittarius. Come down over here. We've got our Mars in Gemini, moved back into Gemini last week. We've got, and it's still retrograde, Jupiter is retrograde in Taurus, and Uranus is retrograde in Aries, Chiron in Pisces, and then we've got Neptune, Venus, and Saturn right over here. Uranus. I was going to say Uranus. Neptune is in Pisces. We've got Venus right at the edge there where she's going to move into Pisces this week. And then we've got Saturn still hanging out in Aquarius. So let's talk about our sun and just what is going on with our sun this week. So we've got that trine over here to Jupiter, which we saw last week, which is really bringing in that opportunity, that optimistic energy, that really happy, enthusiastic, more of like a confident and adventurous outlook on things. So this is a really good time to start those new projects, new studies, really good energy for getting into new things. And then we've got on the first here, which if we come over to the first is on Saturday. Right here, we've got the conjunction with Mercury. So let's talk about, because this is a really good, we see the Sun and Mercury, they are often conjunct. And I say this because they travel pretty closely together, or should I say the Mercury is traveling pretty close to the Sun. And so we'll see them moving really kind of within the same sign, or usually maybe a sign before or a sign after. So we have conjunctions with Mercury quite often with our sun. When these happen though, these are really, really good times for like that focused thinking, for adaptability, for curiosity, for just shifting the energy as far as bringing in more of that communication, bringing more of those insights. It's a really good time to just have those really good ideas and connect with people. So Gemini, who Mercury rules, or Mercury rules Gemini, however you want to say that, their energy is very social. So there's a lot of personal interaction energy that happens here. So meeting new people, connecting with people, connecting with your neighbors, your communities. This is a really good time to like really be social during this time. So this is from February 1st all the way through the 17th. So we'll see that first half of February really social, really starting to get out there a little bit more. Now, let's talk about this new moon that's happening this week. We've got our new moon in Capricorn that takes place on the 29th at 6:35 a.m. Central Time. Let me get that in there. We'll see it right here. And we've got this trine over here to Jupiter. So we've got Capricorn and we've got Jupiter. So the new moon in Capricorn is really powerful, optimistic energy. It's the great opportunity for new beginnings, personal growth, really expanding our perspective, expanding our energy, expanding our capability. There's just this really good expansion energy with that trine to Jupiter. So we're going to see Capricorn's really practical energy, really goal-oriented energy with Jupiter's expansive energy, with its optimistic influence. And I would say this is like we have been working towards our goals. In the Reset Retreat, we have been working this month to really solidify what our goals are, what it is that we want to create and design this 2025 year. And so bringing in this new moon right here is like, okay, like we've got our plan of action. We know what we're doing. And now let's go ahead and open up those opportunities. So I'm going to invite you with this new moon to really have that energy of like, all right, let me open up my energy. Let me open up my field to be able to receive, and you're able to allow these new opportunities to come in. And then when we get to that full moon later on in February, anything that is coming up that is blocking you from receiving, that's a great time to really set. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our Mercury. Let's talk about Mercury because we do have that conjunction with Pluto that we see right here. And Mercury, we talked about this last week. Mercury and Pluto together just brings this depth and this intensity to our thinking and our communication. So as I was talking about how there's that social energy really coming through, it's almost as if your conversations, you don't want them, especially during this week here, you're not wanting some superficiality with it, right? You're not wanting to just, talk about the weather. You talk about that cute outfit you're wearing, but maybe what inspired you to wear that outfit? What vibe is that outfit bringing out in you? And the conversations, maybe even with your clients or maybe with your colleagues, is definitely wanting to get deeper into things. Now, when we are talking about Pluto, there is that tendency to have that power play come in. So you might even see that maybe people are trying to influence you or put power over you from a communication level, right? We are always being influenced by others in some way, shape, or form, and we have to be really careful. As a matter of fact, earlier this week, as I was getting ready for, organizing my day and just getting things ready, I usually have like a podcast or an audiobook of some sort that I'm listening to. And so I was like deep in it, in getting my schedule together and looking at what I had to do. And my love was like, "What are you listening to?" Because he could hear it. And I was like, and I had caught it, but I didn't. I just was so like, I need to get these things done, right? I'm focused over here, that I could hear it, but I wasn't really fully paying attention, which was not a good place, right? Because what is happening, you might have something on in the background. We do this a lot. I know I do this, where I have something on in the background. And what they were talking about was this girl's journey through cancer. And it was interesting because that's not what the title of the podcast episode was about. It was about, money and You either something about like you ask for it. I can't remember, but the title had nothing to do with that. And so here in the middle of the conversation, they start talking and they kept going and going and going for a good maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes of this entire 40-minute episode, all about her cancer journey, which, great. And I'm so blessed and honored that she was able to get through it and she was able to share that story. But it also was because I was distracted, because I wasn't paying attention, these ideas were being implanted within my mind. And so, he was snapping me out of it. Like, wait, what are you listening to? Like, why are you listening to that? And I was like, well, it's great. It's her, talking about her journey. But then also because I wasn't being conscious of it, it was just filtering into my mind. And I was like, oh, that's not good. And so this is where I also say, be careful, because those things that you might be listening to, they're always influencing you. And especially with this Mercury and Pluto energy, we want to make sure that we're implanting those right. And I say right, but like the beliefs, the affirmations that are really going to serve and empower us. You might even find that during this time you get more interested in like the seriousness of things, the serious topics, the serious subjects. This is also, it could be bringing up, some of the old ideas, some of the old threats. And so really balancing your nervous system, really allowing yourself to release anything within the body, regulating your nervous system. Just some deep breathing is always easiest to do, but there are so many other somatic practices that you can do to help regulate your nervous system. If you tend to be somebody that can get a little bit rocked on things, or if there's something happens and it's like it feels really deep and really intense, I'm going to recommend that you work on balancing your nervous system. All right, let's go ahead and dive back in, because we also have a trine with Mercury, because we have that trine with our new moon, right? So we do have that trine coming in with Mercury here on the 31st. And that is bringing in, and this is just going to be for that week here. So we'll see it at the end of the middle of this week to the middle of next week. And so when we're looking at Mercury and Jupiter, there's a lot of optimism, confidence in our conversations, in our discussions, in what we know. There's also a really good time to teach things and share those ideas with others. Really good bigger picture type energy. So really looking at the bigger picture of things instead of the little details where sometimes we can get caught, but really expanding out. Good time to have a lot of honest, open dialogue with people, whether that's in your relationships, whether that's with your clients, your colleagues. Also, another really good time for networking. All right, let's move into Mars, because we do have Mars. We did start this energy last week. On the 21st, and we're going to see this kind of fall off here. So I just want to bring this to your attention because it's going to fall off here. But this is Mars and Venus. So we see that trine here. That was a really nice, fun, social beauty that was coming into our energy over the past week. And then now let's look at this Mars and Saturn. We are going to see this come in. Let me show you right here. So it comes in on the 25th. And this is going to be here through the end of April. When we are talking about Mars and Saturn, so Mars being our drive, our motivation, that strength, and Saturn being the energy of bringing us foundations, really showing us our limitations and our boundaries. There's a lot of strength and endurance within Saturn. So these two working together, we're going to see a lot of ambitious energy, perseverance, strength, confidence coming through. Anything that feels hard or it's like it's going to be a lot to do, this is a great time to do that. patience and discipline are going to be at their top. So if you're thinking about the new habits that you're wanting to step into, the new the goals maybe that you have set, that there's certain things that you need to do that are maybe a little bit harder, this is a really good time to do it because you've got that patience and you've got that self-discipline to work through those. This is also a great time to have that follow through because Saturn really understands the idea of patience and, delayed gratification. I was like, what's the word I'm looking for? Delayed gratification, in knowing that if I do this now, I'm going to achieve the result later, right? We can see this really easily when we are working on our diets, right? When we are trying to improve our diets, or when we are going to the gym and we don't see the immediate result, right? I don't go to the gym and then all of a sudden I see a six pack, right? A day later. No, we know that the work that we're doing here, we're going to see in 3 weeks, in 6 weeks, in 12 weeks, right? We're going to see those results. And so that's very much that Saturn energy coming with Mars. It's like, okay, I know I have the discipline. I know that what I'm doing now is going to pay off later. We can also think of this from the business standpoint. If you are somebody that, there's certain strategies that you have in place, Saturn is really great at this. If you've got certain strategies that you're like, these are the strategies that I want to do as I'm moving through my business and growing my business this year, then this is like, it's really good to stick to this strategy. It's really good to, okay, this is what I'm going to do, knowing that doing these things are going to get me what I'm looking for later, right? There's, the networking things that I did last year are coming into play this year, right? There's a lot of relationship building that I did last year that are coming into fruition this year. And so you can see that, if I would have just counted on it coming quickly and easily right then and there, not so much. Not to say that some didn't, but there were some, but there's still more coming now. And so anything that you're doing today, and I've heard this phrase and I can't quite remember where I heard it, but it's like the things that you today, you're going to get tomorrow, right? You're going to get 3 months from now. You're going to get a year from now. So it's really important on looking at the day-to-day things that you're doing. All right, let's keep going we've got Venus. So let me share my screen again, and we're going to go back to Venus. Now, Venus, we see right here, she is making a sextile over to Pluto that comes in here on the 21st. No, that's not correct, Danny. It says it in my notes, but I don't see that there. So let me take a look and see if I just have my dates wrong, or yeah, it looks like I have my dates wrong. Well, there you go, my friend. We don't get that sextile until the 30th. The 30th, and then it is going to go into February. So let me go ahead and tell you a little bit about this one, because Venus and Pluto together really deepens the intensity in relationships, in particular your romantic relationships, but also all relationships. So we tend to see this more with your partner, with your romantic partner, but this can also go into your other relationships. So it's kind of like here we're wanting the companionship, we're wanting the connection, we're wanting to share something special with somebody. And so right here at the end of the month, it might, and then we're moving into February, which happens to be that month where it's all about our relationships, right? So I just want to say that you might feel this call for companionship during this time. not only because of what's happening in our outer world, but also because of these energies. And so I always focus my energy in February on myself. It's a consciously selfish thing that I do where I'm focused on my self-love, because in order to have any other relationship with anybody, you've got to have a great relationship with yourself. I've said this before, I'll say it again. My love and I have a affirmation that is, I love me to love thee. In order for me to truly show up as a good partner for him, I must take care of myself. And so there is this energy coming in that I'm going to invite you to have some fun with yourself. Really keep that your relationship with yourself at the forefront, because this transit can easily get you obsessed with somebody, get you into a new romance that is, just going to stir some things up. It can also bring in some manipulation, hidden affairs, secret relationships. And so I just want to caution you that you're like wanting to step into that and it be a little bit secret, because it might not be quite what is actually a really grounded relationship. And so I just want you to kind of keep that in mind. Now, let's move into this conjunction here with Neptune. So Venus moves into Pisces, which is going to bring more of a spiritual connection to things, especially within our relationships, especially when we start looking at money and beauty. And so when we're looking at this conjunction here with Neptune that comes in on the 25th and will be here through the 9th, there is this energy for difficulty getting motivated, difficulty getting clarity, especially as it relates to money and relationships. This is a good time, though, to indulge in your hobby, get creative, create something beautiful, or read a book. Watch a movie and really immerse yourself in that thing, right? Where we're putting all of our focus and attention into this thing, and it's almost as if we're able to escape reality, right? There's other ways that we can do that through other means that might not be the best for us. And so these are ways that we can do it here. Our level of compassion, our level of wanting to support and care for people is really high during this time, because they're both really supportive energies, really wanting to show that empathy and compassion here. So you might find doing some charity work, or, working caring for your friends or your partner, might be that energy might be wanting to come in. Now, in existing relationships, we can see some spiritual bonding, more compassion, a deepening of the relationship, especially with the sextile to Pluto. Like this energy right here, we could see really strong connection and bonding here. My one concern is in the new relationships that we might not be able to see things really clearly. So if you are dating, this is something that I would caution. And to the flip side of this, if you're looking at bringing on new clients during this time, we also want to be clear of that. We might not have all the clarity. We might not have all the details of whether we're hiring somebody or whether we're bringing somebody on who wants to work with us. There could be a little bit of maybe not quite clear on what that is. And so I would definitely be cautious on that. All right, the last thing I want to talk about is Uranus. So Uranus right here on the 30th, so later on in the day, it is going direct. And so Uranus has been retrograde for quite a bit. So when Uranus goes direct, it is bringing in some innovative and revolutionary energy, my friend. Uranus is the planet of innovative breakthroughs, really asserting independence, change, and change that is rapid and quick. And so we're going to see a lot of that happening, especially because it is in Aries. Now, it's kicking off in Aries. It will move out of Aries and into Taurus, but not quite yet. So we are going to see some really big breakthroughs happening here. I am going to say probably also within AI because and technology. Uranus does rule over technology, and so we could see some really big changes and breakthroughs in that area. These things are bold because they're in Aries. It's, Aries is a very like, I'm going to take action. I'm going to move forward. I'm going to do this. And it doesn't really, it's impulsive. And so there could be some really big impulsive moves that happen out in the collective over this period of time. Now, from a standpoint of a personal standpoint, this is an opportunity for you to have your own innovative breakthroughs, really asserting your independence, really making some rapid change or seeing rapid change and taking action on it quickly, making quick decisions and just moving things forward. So I would say for my fellow spiritual business owners. And when I say this, these are business owners that are on the spiritual path, that are looking to invite more spirituality into their lives and their businesses. I would look at your innovative offerings. How can you innovate your offerings? Maybe brainstorm some ideas and how you can amplify your thing to be more on the cutting edge, more unconventional, and really looking outside of the box for things. Maybe there's a rebrand or a relaunch that you're wanting to do. And again, it's best, especially with this energy, as it always is, but really during this time is for that authenticity. Uranus is all about authenticity. So the more that you can show up and share who you are and what you believe in and what your vision is, what your mission is, even more so here. We can also look at community. This is Uranus, and Uranus does rule over community. So whether this is a community that you are part of or community that you have built on your own, this is a really good time to encourage people to express themselves, express their individual ideas, express the way that they see things and the way that they show up in the world, and helping them really amplify that. We've also got personal development is also really good during this time. Things that are awakening your intuition and creativity are actually really, really beautiful for this. You might even find that there are some new realizations or new ideas around your personal or professional path, just in how am I going to, how we set out, right? Like, this is the idea, this is the vision, this is where I'm going. And we're like, how am I going to do that? This energy here can bring those opportunities to you. So be crystal clear on what it is that you're desiring. Some risk taking is also probably going to come through with this. I would say make sure that they are calculated, make sure that they are towards the thing that you're wanting to go through, that you're trusting your instincts on this, because this is also because it's so quick and it's so fast, it can also be really nerve-wracking to the nervous system. And so allowing yourself to ground in and make sure that you're checking in before you take these steps is also going to be good. And checking, is this fear or is this excitement, right? Because they have the same energetic, right? We look at it from that standpoint. It's the same feelings that I feel in my body. It's just, how am I labeling that, right? And then also collaborative ideas. So working with somebody, collaborating on a project, masterminding, think tanks are all really good ideas to do during this time. really connecting with somebody and, doing some Facebook lives or going on Instagram or YouTube where you're really connecting together, hosting something together, really collaborative energy, or just connecting and sharing ideas, right? What are you doing? How are you doing this? Here's what I'm thinking. What are you thinking? And just have that. So I'm so excited for Uranus to get out of retrograde and really start to move everything forward. We'll feel this like collectively as like we are moving forward. And for some of us, that's probably not going to be, it's not going to feel good, right? It's like, it might not be the change that you want. It might be something that you're like, what is going on? And it might not feel really good. And other people might be like, yeah, this is finally, we're moving forward. We're doing this. So I want you to keep that in mind and to honor yourself, honor your nervous system, honor what you're doing, honor how you feel about things, and make sure that you are grounding your energy, that you are releasing anything that is getting in your way, and stay focused, my friend. Stay focused on what is for you, where you are going this year. Things are always going to happen out in the collective. And how are you still doing your thing? How are you still focused on what it is that you want to achieve? It is really easy to get distracted by all the noise out there. Do your best to focus in on what is most important to you. And we're going to have this Uranus energy all the way to the mid March. I think it's March 18th. So this is going to be a couple of months here where it's going to feel like, what the heck is going on? Do whatever you need to do, my friend, to stay grounded. And I'd love for you to come join us for Magic Monday. I do somatic breathworks every single Monday. We do our daily practice. We ground in and we receive a message from the Akashic records. So they're always theme-based. They're always channeled. And I would love to have you come and work with us during that time. Also inside Sacred CEO, we will be doing cosmic alignment, which is where we do our daily practice. And we meet 3 times a week to do that daily practice of grounding our energy, of really setting our intentions and staying focused on what matters to us. My friend, do not get lost. Do not get lost in the collective. All right, my friend, that wraps us up for this week's Sidereal Astrology forecast. I am so blessed and honored that you are here and that you listened all the way to the end of this video. Be sure to leave a comment down below, letting me know what you're excited about or what you're nervous about or what's going on after hearing today's forecast for you. If you're on the podcast, feel free to leave a review. I haven't really been pushing that. I'm going to push that this year because it really does help more people learn about the podcast, discover the podcast, and the same with the YouTube channel. So if you have enjoyed this episode, make sure that you leave a review, leave a comment on the YouTube video, and I'd be so blessed and honored, my friend. I'd be so in such gratitude for that. Let's make this year, let's get more people into our community here, learning about sidereal astrology and really aligning their lives and their opening up their perspectives. All right, that wraps it up. Until next time, my friend, keep shining your unique light.